All right. So Halloween's coming, but imagine a doorbell that you could actually change the ringtone to maybe load a spooky um, message or song.
J-More Tech Talk Show, where we answer questions about technology, explain the way they should work, and why they don't sometimes.
Well, hi everybody. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here, and welcome once again to another episode of the J Moore Tech Talk Show. I can't believe that we are actually on the first day of October. Today is October 1st, in case you didn't know that. And of course, it's great to be with my wonderful co-host, Marcus. It's great to have you with me here tonight.
It's great to be with you too, John.
And a lot's been happening. As you know, last week I revealed the iPhone 13 Max Pro and gave you my first impressions. If you haven't already seen that, go to jmor.com and go down to social and go to where it says shows. You'll see JMOR unboxings, and you'll be able to see my first impressions right after I got it from FedEx, literally seconds after they delivered it. And, we'll talk more about that this week. I'll give you some more of my thoughts about what I think of the iPhone 13 Max Pro, what I like and what I don't like. But before we get into that, which will be a little bit later in the program, I want to talk to you about a new robot. Yes, a brand new robot, Amazon's Astro. And everyone is saying that it is terrible because it will undoubtedly, I guess, topple down the stairs. And this is coming to us from many different developers that have actually put this together. It doesn't have any type of hands or anything like that. It has a little screen that kind of turns, and it kind of just, has two wheels. Some of the people that built this robot were not really impressed with it because they were expecting a lot more. When you want a robot to be agile and flexible in your home environment or work environment, it's got to have hands. I mean, the thing can't even bring you a sandwich or bring you a drink or even a glass of water, or let alone, get your paper or do anything for you. And this robot's just under $1,000. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't spend a penny for this thing. So definitely a letdown for all the people, and unfortunately those that invested in this terrible robot. It's Amazon's latest robot. It's $999. And unfortunately, it's going to be hitting the market soon. But I think they really shouldn't let it hit the market. I think they should do some more R&D, because I think they're going to have a lot of complaints with this robot. That's just my feeling, Marcus. I think, anytime a company like this does something major, they've really got to put the time and the effort into it. Because if they don't, guess what's going to happen? It's going to backfire in their face, and then they're going to have to deal with more repercussions, and then deal with repairing the tarnished image that was caused by this inferior product. All right. Well, for those of you that don't know, what is it? Just at about 30 more days from today. Actually, 30 more days from today. We're going to be hitting October 31st. That's Halloween. Ooh. All right. So Halloween's coming, but imagine a doorbell that you could actually change the ringtone to maybe load a spooky message or song, like maybe the Monster Mash. Well, this is not far off. The spooky Halloween ringtones are coming to the Google Nest video doorbells. That's right. Today is actually when they launched. So this is pretty interesting, and you're not going to have to hear that terrible, pre-programmed sound that you couldn't change before. And this doorbell, I think, is going to change people because I know at home many years ago when I got one of those doorbells, you could program. It's pretty neat when you can have holiday tunes in there or somebody's birthday. You can play happy birthday. And that was just before you could even program it with anything beside, let's say, maybe the pre-populated 12 or 14 songs from the factory. But now you can actually upload them digitally, which gives us a lot more flexibility. And in case you were wondering, I know some people here are wondering this, the Google Nest Video Doorbell, okay? If you didn't know what the Google Nest Video Doorbell was, you can actually buy the Google Nest Video Doorbell for right around $179 up to around $229, depending on which model you get. And yeah, so that's definitely going to be interesting for a lot of people now that can actually load their favorite song for the holidays, for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, and all kinds of special occasions. So kudos to Google and Nest for doing that. I think that's going to be a pretty amazing thing, especially on Halloween. You ring the doorbell, it's like, who goes there? It's like, I think that'll kind of psych some people. What do you think, Marcus? Well, a lot's been transpiring in the media, of course, about the iPhone 13. And before I give you my review on that, the iPhone 13 had a bug, an unlock bug with the Apple Watch, but I want to let you know that that's actually been fixed in beta. They have not released that version. So I'm presuming we're going to be getting a new version of the iOS for those of you that are on the 15. There's going to be a new version coming out, but I guess they want to make sure there's no other bugs in there as well. So that'll be interesting. All those people spend a fortune on the phone and the watch and they can't unlock it. That's they call it a slight annoyance. I think it's a little more than an annoyance. But something else has been happening, and that is the fact that Facebook is actually starting to exploit kids on their play dates, turning them into growth drivers. Now, I don't mean anything X-rated or anything like that, but what I do mean is that they're taking kids and learning about them and their environments and how they interact with others. And they're starting to use that to help them profit to sell more types of services. And that's what Facebook is doing. And I got to tell you, I'm not in favor of this. I think it's really bad that they're doing this. And they claim they're just doing it to help people. Well, the company's child research is mostly motivated by the success of the apps like TikTok and Snapchat to attract younger users. But I feel that this is not the right market to go after. First of all, I don't think these companies have the right to be exposing these kids to these situations so they can learn from them. They're not even being compensated. They don't even know what they're really doing. And these companies are making some mondo bucks on there. And anytime you exploit kids to make money, I think that's bad. I mean, there's things you can do that are for the benefit of the kid. And if it's going to bring the kid some value, great. But when you're just taking information to sell it to a third party, that's bad. I mean, there's services like, picture services and things like that. That's not exploiting kids. That's letting them have an experience and letting them treasure that. But when you think about marketing using young kids in a child research project, that's a problem. Children could be converted to Instagram and Facebook users down the road. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And exploring playdates as a growth lever, as I quote, not happy with that either. And, they're actually talking to kids that down into 6 age brackets, adults, late teens, 16 to maturity, 13 to 15, and 10 to 12-year-olds. Okay. But then 5 to 9-year-olds. I mean, come on, guys. Can somebody step in there and knock some sense in these people? What are they doing? They're exploiting youth. And these people don't even know that they're being abused in this way, all to help these big monster companies profit. I think that's despicable, and I think they might be getting themselves in trouble down the road. I possibly see some lawsuits happening because we're not even thinking about the way that this might actually affect a kid's mindset for the worse, for life. And what's going to happen? Are they signing a release when they go there? I hope not. And I hope that release doesn't hold up in court because they should be really ashamed of themselves for what they're doing and how they're learning about this data. So I'm not really happy about that. Well, if you thought it was fun getting the Apple 13 Max Pro, which I'm not sure if you guys heard last week, I spent over 2 hours trying to get online. Website kept crashing. In fact, sites in, I believe it was in China, were crashing when the 400 million pre-orders were going in. So lots of issues. I remember going to the big site with the V on it. I'm sure other companies had a similar problem. And when I went to put the order in, they kept telling me, nope, you're not getting this color. Nope, you're not getting this color. I'm like, but that's not the color I want. And the site was having like almost a 60-second delay. Absolutely terrible. But if you thought that was fun, well, you can now get in line to purchase the PS5 at Sony. Yeah, both the disc-based console and the digital edition. So that's very, very interesting as, that released, basically not too long ago. Actually, we learned about this just a couple days ago. And Sony has sold out of the PS5 and the PS5 digital editions as of the 28th of this week. They want to make sure to let you know when the next opportunity comes up. But I think they're doing a little bit worse of a job than Apple, because at least I know that everyone that wanted to get one could get one, even though there were challenges and some people are still waiting for shipments. I mean, I know I got mine on the 24th, which is the first date you could get them. And other ones are coming, like within a week or two later. So they're doing a pretty good job. But this Sony update about the PS5 and the PS5 digital edition, I don't know. I really don't know. This is going to be probably on a lot of people's holidays and Christmas lists, because if they want it for Christmas, they're going to probably have to get it now. I mean, we're in October, November. So I guess you better get in line now if you want to get one, or pay some extortionist price on one of those sites with the E or other sites, which I think is absolutely terrible how they do that. Like the guy just about a year ago, I mean, the FBI did go after them for selling masks. I think it was 5 or 7 times what he bought them for. He did that with cameras too. He bought these Logitech cameras for, I don't know, maybe under $100, and he was selling them for 7 times. When he did that with the masks, the FBI broke in and raided their place and actually arrested him, because I think that was absolutely terrible that somebody would do that. But there are people out there that do extortion. I think why the FBI stepped in is because what they did with the masks. That's why they got involved. It was affecting people that needed those things. So definitely a challenge. And as you're thinking about whether you want to get in line or not, well, just figure out whether your son or daughter is going to be disappointed if you don't have a PS5 Sony for them on Christmas or the holidays that are coming up. Well, let's do some of our imagination, shall we? Let's think about, just for 1 second, the possibility of a drone that's in your home that flies around when you're not home to monitor your house. Well, think no more. This is the new Ring Always Home Cam, and it's basically a little device. The drone is currently only available to those that apply, and it's in an invite-only access. And it's going for about $250. So this was announced last year. Amazon's was going to announce that they were going to start selling the Ring Always Home Cam. And they started actually selling it on September 28th. But again, it's by invitation only, alongside the new Ring Alarm Pro, the Blink Video Doorbell, and some other products that they have. So the Ring drone is just the latest Amazon's privacy puzzle box. And I have to tell you that I am not really pleased with this. What one person said, and I quote, "I'd be more worried about the camera on your phone than I would be about a drone." Okay, I don't care where the camera is. I care about when it's accessed. And the drone is just one of dozens of technology advancements or derailments, I'm going to call it, that could be exposing people's personal information to other people that maybe shouldn't have access to it, like bad actors that may want to rob your home, learn about your styles, or maybe even exploit your kids. So that's not a good thing. So I'm not really in favor of this, to be quite honest with you. I like to be honest, and that's what I'm doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has come. The iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I got my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I have to tell you that they incorporate a brand new feature in the 15 iOS version. But as a nuance with the new phone, which is what they marketed it with, I actually was able to turn on my old phone, which was on already, and my new phone. And literally, I was able to transfer my data from one phone to the other. And I had a lot of data in under 15 minutes. It was pretty fast, Bluetooth to Bluetooth. And although it transferred all my pictures, it transferred all my websites, all my apps, everything came over beautifully. Do you know what didn't work? I'm going to tell you. Well, what didn't work was one thing. And that one thing, you guessed it. For those of you that use two-factor authentication, all of my two-factor codes did not come over. I think Apple must have some block to Microsoft's proprietary storage, which I think is wrong. I think it should be able to include in the backup, but they probably did it for security. So one thing, that didn't happen. So you do have to go over to your two-factor authentication app, go to the top over here, and you'll see where it says basically settings, and you'll see where it says backup. Make sure it's on backup, cloud backup. And then what you're able to do is you have the application on your other phone. You're going to click on recover, put your email in and your password. And then what it's going to do is want to verify that it's you. So it's going to send a code to the other device so that you can actually allow the login on the other device. So one thing I want to encourage is make sure before you erase your other phone, which only takes seconds, make sure that you have all your data on the other phone. Now, just because the icons are there doesn't mean you're safe and out of jail. You have to make sure the icons are there and they work. Another issue I found was one of my banking apps did not allow me to log in. It was not all of them. It was just one of them, and it was a regional bank. I was able to log in with my password, but my face recognition didn't work. I will tell you that my face recognition worked on the new phone right away after I, because when I did the process, it actually built a brand new face profile and linked it to my password. So that's why that worked. Obviously, the Bluetooth won't work for any type of Bluetooth devices, whether they're headphones, a microphone, or your car. Like my car has Bluetooth receivers and transmitters in it so that it can actually get music and play it, like my iPhone music or other data sound from the web that can play through my Bluetooth connection. So that had to be redone, but that was pretty simple. And the other thing I have to say about it is the battery does get a little warm. Not all the time, but it does get a little warm. When I had the case off of it, I could feel it getting warm. And sometimes, not all the time, maybe out of the week, maybe 2 times out of the week, I felt this getting warm. Not hot, but warm. And so I think Apple needs to do a little better of a job on the battery system. I think that was rushed too much. So what I do like about the phone is it is much faster, much faster. I do wish that they would have gotten rid of the port that they have, the lightning port, and standardized to a USB-C, because you're not really getting the full transfer rate. So not happy about that. The phone is liquid quick. And when I go to, a website and I scroll, it has a smoother scroll, which I think is really, really cool. Now, the phone, we measure things in what we call micrometers. So that's a so 1 micrometer is equivalent to 1.0 E 6 meters. So it's actually 1.0 E dash 6 meters. Now, the primary 12 megapixel sensor is a 1.9 or 1.9 in equivalent to the micrometers, pixels, and 26 millimeters equivalent. The f-stop on the camera is a 1.5 aperture lens, and the sensor will take you all the way down to 1.8. You do have dual pixel. It also goes from your regular focus to ultra wide, which I think is really cool. So you can be for macro photography, which is really neat. You have the telephoto 12 megapixel lens, 77 millimeters, equivalent to an f2.8 aperture lens, 3D sensors. Definitely has the 4K technology at 24, 25, 30, and 60 frames per second. And at the HDR, it's 25, 30, and 60 frames per second. So you have video recording now with Dolby, which is pretty good, Dolby Vision. And you have cinematic mode for recording videos with shadow, depth of field. You can change lots of different things. I'm not going to get into it, but you have so many more menus that you could get into. So, for example, when I go into my camera right now, and I'm going to go down to my video, and I was let's say I'm just going to like pull the screen up just a little bit. I can go from a half, I can go to 1 time or 3 times zoom, which I think that's really nice. But let's go into photo mode for a second. And when I go into photo mode, or I go into let's see, I'll go to my photo mode for a second here, and I will swipe up, and I have the ability, ladies and gentlemen, when I swipe up, you will see that I actually have my flash. I have I have to change my proportion to square, 4:3, 6:9. So some nice things. Just touch the 4:3 again, it goes away. I think it's I think they gave us some nice controls. Definitely good stuff. I think a lot of people may not welcome this just because they're not used to it. You have the ability to change, like I said, the focus. You can change the mode you're in, the flash, which we've had before. That's no surprise. But you can also change, there's a wheel, and you can change the level on the wheel for the light exposure. So you have a lot of pluses here, ladies and gentlemen, that make this phone pretty interesting. I mean, I gotta tell you, for being a phone, the camera is, if I had to give everything on this phone a review, I don't give things a 10. I give the camera about a 9.5 because I believe that this camera is a lot more superior than the older camera. Now, why do I say that? Well, the camera, when you take pictures of it, they're more crisp. The details are better. Okay. It's a better camera. And when you're taking things in night mode, it's better. I actually find that it takes less time to take the photo. So when you use macro photography, it auto switches from ultra wide when you get close to an object, from wide to ultra wide. And you have the A15 Bionic processor. So it was 4 cores on the iPhone 12, and on the iPhone 13, you have the 5 cores. So you can breeze through your entire day without ever needing to charge your battery, which I got to tell you is probably one of the best things that I like about this phone the most. So in portrait mode, I have something called natural light. I can change the light. I can go natural. I can go studio. I can go contour. I can go stage. I can go stage light mono, or I could go stage. I could go all the way at the end, which is highlight mono. So nice flexibility options. They definitely give us a lot of things. Of course, you have the pano, which you've had before. But I got to tell you, the camera on this is pretty remarkable. Now, when you're on a Zoom call or a video conference call, it actually helps to keep you in frame. The other thing I like about this is that the body of the phone, because when everybody's phone's like, oh, I got to buy another case. Really? Seriously? My phone, I was so happy to learn that it actually fits inside the same case that I had before. So that was great. That saved me $100 and some. So I was very happy about that. So you do not get the plug. Apple's trying to, they claim, quote unquote, be environmentally friendly. You do get the, you do get a cord in the box. You do get that, and so you're able to use the cord. It's just the standard to USB. It's not the USB-C, which those you have to buy extra. So, all in all, I love the way it was packaged. If you didn't see the unboxing, go to jmore.com, go to shows, social shows, go to jmore unboxings, and you'll get to see my first impressions of the phone. If I have to give this phone a number, which I really hate to do, I got to give it about a 9.5, which is pretty good for me. The upgradability was seamless. I mean, it really was very, very easy. The pictures came over so easily, not just the ones that were on the phone, the ones that were stored. So that worked really, really nicely for me. They have some other modes. Now they have the share with you feature where it can look for different things in different places, not just in one place. So I like that feature. The other nice thing about the phone, which was great, it came with plenty of charge in it. So I was able to transfer my one phone to the other and not have to worry about it dying. That happened on another phone where they didn't give you enough charge. So kudos to Apple for, making sure the battery was probably over 50% charged, not 100% charged, but it was probably almost about 50% charged. So I was pleased to hear that. And, all in all, I think the best thing I like about it is if you hold the power button down, I turn off the phone just to show you. I'm going to turn off the phone right now. Okay, the phone is off. Okay, now I'll just give it a second or two. And if I go ahead and I touch the button here, which will take a second to, you can see it here on camera. Might take a second to be off. I'm going to touch the power button here. I'm going to give it a second to sometimes when you turn it off, it takes a second to come back on. I'm going to touch the power button there. Might take a second to come back on. So I'll hold the power button down. There it is. It's on. So it's on. And now watch how fast this phone loads. There's the Apple. Okay. And it's going through its little paces, and we're loaded already. That was under 20 seconds. That's sick. So this Bionic processor makes the phone a lot more intelligent. When I did play 3D games on it, wow, it blew me away. You're able to switch from apps, from screens. Really nice phone. The weight doesn't seem that much different than my old phone. There was one little issue that I came across, and I think it might be an issue with my case. When I hit this button here, I was able to turn the notch for the phone off, but then when I did again, it didn't come back on. So it might just be that my case is getting old. I really didn't want to spend money on a brand new case because this case works fine, and I was hoping I could save. It's a life-proof case, and also I don't like to change it because then I'd have to take this thing off and have to get another one of these. You can't really take these off too easy. You have to buy another one and then pop that on. So really want to keep my case. I think the plastic mechanism in here might get broken. So that could be, it might not align properly. But all in all, I have to tell you that I am very, very pleased with not only the presentation of the phone. They gave you a nice little plastic, which you can see from my video, how I unpeeled the phone. Camera, very, very easy to use. I mean, with the cinematic mode, you could take a picture of, let's say, if there's two people or there's a dog here and a dog behind, it'll automatically kind of blur out the one in the back. So it puts more focus on the one in the front. So all in all, this phone, if you're on the fence about this phone, I know it may be a lot for some, but here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it's definitely worth it because even when I go to, let's say I'm going to go to my Wi-Fi right now. I'm just going to show you. And I'm connected in the office here to my Wi-Fi. I'm going to go to my speed test, which I've gone to before, speedtest.net. And that's going to basically take me to a site. Okay, so I'll go to my speed test here. And so I think what a lot of people are going to appreciate about this phone is that it's just liquid fast. I'm going to hit go right now. All right. And it's going to take a second or two. I'm pulling in some pretty fast speed with this. Okay. On this thing right now, I'm pulling in speeds at the top of the limit. And I think that's pretty amazing. That's just on regular. But now if I go to Wi-Fi, okay, I'm going to go to my Wi-Fi. So we were getting in the let's say the broadband provider right around 25, 35, which is very, very decent, okay, for a Wi-Fi provider, right? That's what it's about. But let's go now and check the speed test with our in-house network. And we're zooming. I mean, we're getting a little over 100, okay? And the reason we're getting that is because the access point's in the other room and I'm in another office, but normally if I'm in front of it, this thing's going to probably jump over 400 or 500. So lots of flexibility, lots of power. I love the way you can switch around, you can move around. There are some other things that's nice about it. When you think about, perspective of the screen and how you can move, I don't seem to get stuck anymore when I press buttons. I talked to a few of my friends and they had issues when they were on some screens. The only time I believe that I got stuck, I was actually in Facebook and I was sending a message and the screen got stuck. And so I had to close the app, come back down, and then it seemed to work. But that was the only time. So I know there is a little bit of a bug, but it's not that much that I would worry about it because it only happened to me once. And now I've owned the phone over more than 24 hours. I've owned the phone, I'd say a week easily because I got the phone last Friday. So, in another couple minutes, I'll be owning the phone, well over a week. And I would say that if you're on the fence about this phone is not for someone that's just going to, if you're just going to talk on the phone, this isn't for you. If you want to explore data, you want to do things like virtual reality, and you want to harness the power of data, oh my gosh, this is the phone for you. If you want to do QR code scanning, this thing scanned the QR code so fast. The other phone was still thinking about it. Even though it was an iPhone 12, okay? And again, it was the 12 Pro Max, and I have the 13 Pro Max. One had 4 cores, this had 5 cores. I love the fact that I don't have to charge my phone in the middle of my day. I mean, my phone is just at half right now. And we're into 7 o'clock, and I've been using the phone since about 7 o'clock in the morning. That's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. So I think if you're trying to think about, does it make sense to get the iPhone 13 Pro Max? You have to ask yourself, are you a data user? Are you going to be surfing the web? Are you going to be using QR codes? Do you want to check your email, right? Do you want to do things like that? One other thing I want to share with you is that it brought over all my corporate email accounts. It did one thing that I didn't like. It didn't preserve my setting, which was to delete mail when I empty it from trash. And I actually discovered that about 3 or 4 days in when I had several thousand emails. I'm like, why do I have several thousand emails? And I'm like, oh, here's what happened. When it did the upgrade, it did not check the box option to delete when I empty from trash. So that was a little annoying. And that took me about an hour or so to delete a lot of those superfluous messages because they were all coming in double because it never told our server that they were actually gone. Now, if you're using IMAP, you don't have to worry about that. But I like to work with copies of messages. I like that. And tracking how they come in and stuff like that. But all in all, nice phone. Again, very, very flexible phone. Settings are just very easy. They made the screens very user friendly. Okay. Now, not that it changed much from where it was before, but what did it do? Well, they made the phone powerful. And in doing that, I believe they took away a lot of the user's frustration. In owning my own past iPhone 12 Pro Max, there were sometimes I got frustrated with it. I'd be turning off the phone because something froze. This phone only froze one time in a week. Now, I'm going to let you know after a month what I think about it, but right now I'm giving it a 9.5. And I'm very happy to give it a 9.5 because I think Apple did a great job with the camera. Definitely a great job with the back camera. And I also feel that although they tried with the battery, I mean, that was good. I just feel they needed to put more time into the conductance and how the heat sinks were dissipating, the power of the battery. I think that really could have been handled a little bit better. So I felt that was kind of rushed, to be quite frank and quite honest with you. But everything works on it. I mean, when I touch stuff, everything from my AirPrint to connecting with networks, it just works, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it works so well. When I connect to a network, it's like seconds. My other phone wasn't quite that fast, even though it was a very new phone. Oh, what else I love with it about it is that I use the personal hotspot a lot, and I have unlimited data with my carrier. And so when I turn on the personal hotspot, the data just works. It works so well. And other phones that I did that with, I found that function was crippling the phone. But now that it has the 5 cores, I really believe that is giving this phone like a whole other life leg, that it's able to do so many more things. And I can't say enough about it. Using Instagram and moving between, just very, very easy, very simple. The screens are so fluid. So when I switch from one account to another account, I'll just touch my bottom here. And I can pick my account. And once I do that, I mean, I'm literally in the account in seconds. I mean, that is just, that's amazing. There was no delay. And that's what I think people want. So if you want a phone that's going to be reliable for you and you're in business, okay? If you're just using one for home, it's probably not going to matter much. But if you're somebody who wants to, if you're an avid gamer, if you're somebody who wants to do a lot of social media, if you're somebody that maybe wants to send emails, maybe you're doing Slack, like we do a lot of Slacking, one of the apps. Maybe you're doing Skyping or Zooming or anything like that. It just works, guys. It does not freeze. And so that's another reason I like it. So is that worth spending more money for a phone? In my eyes, yes, it is. Because the amount of time that I would take because I'm frustrated because it doesn't work would aggravate me, right? And now that I got a phone that actually has the power, think of it like more horsepower. That's what that chip did. It gave it more horsepower, so you can do all the things that you tried to do in the past, but you just couldn't do them, right? I'm sure you've heard of that before in the past, right? But let's take a look at some other things, because I know owning the iPhone 13 Pro Max is something people are still on the fence about. So let's look at a couple things like specifically. So one thing I want to tell you is the iPhone 13 Pro, as I said, starts at just under $1,000, $999. And the 13 Pro Max starts at $1,099. Okay. So you have the option now to get 1 terabyte of storage on the iPhone, and the extra storage pushes the price of the phone. You got it, ladies and gentlemen. $400. It actually pushes it up $400. That's a big jump. I know I got the 256, but that's a huge, huge jump. Okay. Do you really need that? Probably not. And if you do decide to get The phone, the iPhone 13 Pro is $400 more. And if you have the i13 Pro Max, it's $500 more. Not worth it. No, that's not worth it. So the iPhone 13 Pro, the notch is 20% smaller on the top, so that was nice. But there is still a notch, so that does annoy some people. It doesn't really bother me too much. The ProMotion on the iPhone 13 Pro is really to die for. It has a 6.1-inch screen and a 13 Pro Max 6.7-inch one as well. That's a different size. So 6.1 on the 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max is 6.7-inch. So in everyday use, the screens are a little bit brighter, I've noticed. They're easier to see. And the displays have what Apple now refers to as ProMotion, which just means that the iPhone, for the first time ever, supports a high refresh rate. And depending on what you have on your screen, the refresh rate can switch between 10 hertz and 120 hertz. So the approach is very similar to the way Samsung took their Galaxy S21 Ultra, and the screen looks very stellar. So that's kind of where that came from. The iPhone 13 Pro has a longer telephoto camera. The main camera has a new sensor, and it has a faster f1.5 aperture lens, which basically equals improved light gathering while we're taking pictures or video. The ultra wide has a new autofocus sensor and the lens that also improves light gathering. So the telephoto camera gets a new sensor and the lens with a longer 3 times optical zoom. I think that was cool that they did that. That's really cool. So the iPhone Pro does definitely produce brighter photos. So that I can tell you without a doubt, hands down. And as I said, the night mode is definitely better as it's faster. Because you have to hold the phone a little bit steady during that time. And there's just a lot of great features. But if you take pictures of food or you take pictures of a building, you're going to see a lot more vitality in the pictures. Sharpness, clarity, detail. Okay. I think what a lot of people are on the fence about is, is it worth the money? And I will tell you this, it's worth the money to go to an iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max, if you need that, for $128, $256. To go above that, I think you're wasting your money. I mean, do you really need a phone that's that large? I mean, half the time, I know I take my photos off all the time and I store them on, secondary storage. So I have to say it definitely was innovative. Okay. I would have liked if they could have sent us the USB C cable, which would have been nice in the box. Also, what I would like to see is when you have a phone like this, that you have the ability on chargers to charge it by the pieces. Because let's face it, I put this on this LifeLock thing, and this is great because it just goes right on my belt. I clip it, and then once I clip it, that sucker's never coming out unless I unlatch it. So that's really, really great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed tonight's episode. We had lots to share with you. Marcus, it's always great to be with you and see you again. And we got some great stuff. We have our audio show, as you know, tomorrow on Saturday. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking to become a guest on the Jay Moore Tech Talk Show, go to jmoore.com, click on Reach Out. You'll see the icon, apply to become a guest, fill out the appropriate information. It's all automated, and our system will get you scheduled for a vetting interview if it makes sense with our producers. And then we'll sketch up for time to be on the show. I hope you've enjoyed the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It always gives me great pride, great pleasure, and extreme honor to be with you every single day that I'm online, and as well when I'm here with my special audience every Friday night right here, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and also 3 p.m. when we get replayed to Princeton Community TV. We're very grateful for Princeton and their community for broadcasting our program and allowing us to share the knowledge out to so many other people. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope that you do something fun now that we are out of summer and we are first day of October. So pretty soon we'll be saying Thanksgiving's coming. So if you know that Halloween is coming, which it is in about 30 days, and you have one of these Ring doorbells, or you want to go buy one of them, the Nest Ring doorbell, you now can customize it with sounds like Monster Mash or other songs, and give people a scare when they ring your doorbell. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the doorbell have time increments so that if it's a certain day and time, it could play certain messages. Like maybe they could have 3, maybe they could do one for 7 days, and they could have one, like you could set one for the morning, one for the afternoon, one for the evening, maybe one for the night, and then maybe have the ability to have a different one on weekends. I would like to see that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure being with you. I guess we have to say goodbye, Marcus, right? All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. And I'll be back here, yes, next Friday. That'll be October 8th. Have yourself a wonderful week. And check out my iPhone 13 Pro Max first impressions at jmore.com under social shows and unboxings. And I think you'll find it quite interesting. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for tuning in to the JMOR Weekly Technology Show, where we answer your questions about how technology is supposed to work and sometimes why you have challenges getting it to work that way. For more IT support and tips, just text IT support to 888-111. That's IT support to 888-111, and you'll get tips on technology. I'll see you next week right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Remember, JMOR.com.